All right, we're back. Turns out the internet bandwidth here is probably a little too weak to really do what we're trying to do here, but figured I'd come back real quick, say hi, see if we can get Coach Ridge back on, or maybe Coach Lind, or maybe Coach whomever to talk. I was thinking maybe Coach Vincent might want to as well, but from what I've been told, the match between LaSalle and Charo is over, and the Rams have won their state championship, 1-3. I guess the set two was the closest set, 25-21 or 25-22, and then in set three, it was all LaSalle, 25-14. Certainly would love to see the stats. I don't know if we're going to get a chance to do that, but in speaking with Coach Rich throughout what we could, it seemed like Ephraim was having a great day, and so was Jack, and so was Nick. So, congratulations to the Rams. Great stuff. Had a great year. Certainly put it together in the final pieces of the season when you needed to, and got it done. So the second seed wins the whole thing, and certainly, Charahoe is probably not feeling great right now, but they had a great run. They did a lot of cool things. They upset the number one seed as the 4. They really did have some wonderful moments, and I hope that they, though frustrated and sort of bummed that they didn't get it done, they still had a great ride and a great run, and I hope they got some great moments out of it. Matt Tiernan's going to go on to play volleyball at Endicott College. He's going to be probably a setter for them. I think his pin days might be over, but you never know. I mean, certainly stranger things have happened. People have gone to college and played different positions. So you never know. But yeah, he's going on to Endicott College. Nick Lisi's going on to play volleyball at Ramapo College, which is in New Jersey. He's going to be a pin for them, which is awesome. You can see Nick, well, actually, no, Nick's not going to be there at the ResV All-Star game. ResV All-Star game's June 17th, so it'll be next Saturday. It'll be at East Greenwich High School. We're talking the girls' match will be at 10 a.m., warm-up start at 9, and the boys' match will be at 2 p.m., warm-up start at 1 p.m. And we have Jack Johnson, Ephraim, we have Maddie Tiernan. They're all going to play in the ResV, so you get a chance to see them play again. Unfortunately, Azanaro can't make it. James has other responsibilities he has that day, and I know Nick Lisi won't make it as well, as he also has other responsibilities. So it's too bad we don't get to see those two guys again. If you happen to be in Orlando, June 30th to July 5th, you could see Nick Lisi play again for the South County 18 ones. We'll be down there at Nationals, and he's the O2 for that team. Ephraim will be there as well. Ephraim's the M1 for that team. He shares the middle duties with Jared Sampson from North Kingstown, and then a Connecticut kid, Josiah Brown. Those are the 3 middles that we're bringing. Yeah, that's where we're at, and we're potentially getting ready for the D3 final. And again, I don't know if Coach Ridge will get back on the horn with us, or if Coach Ben Lynn might want to, or if Coach Jack Pincence is out there. I'd love to hear from anybody. It'd be fun to see what we could do. In the meantime, I'm going to see if I can figure out what we're doing here on the other side. Let's see if I can trying to get to that guy right there. So yeah, let's see if we can figure out. when we lost the internet, we were in decent shape, and now we're struggling to get everything back on, which is just the way it goes, I guess. Let's see. Let's see. We're on here. I hope everyone's having a good day. We're still in the morning here. It's 10 a.m. in Washington. Gotta edit this. And we'll see how long this holds. I mean, one of the things that we're sort of figuring it out is that we just don't have the bandwidth to do what we need to do here. So we'll hold out and see if we can make it work a little bit, and then from there, if we don't get to see you guys after this, that's perfectly fine. Let's get back to the studio here. That's what I want. That's what I want. I will remind everybody the chat is open, so if you want to get on here and talk a little bit with me, ask some questions, feel free to do so. And again, we're going to see if we can get Coach Ridge back in the scene here. I thought he was excellent. It was good talking to him. He is continuing. I was going to say he is the head coach for the boys at East Greenwich High School. So it was really nice to have him. Let's see. And I'm not even going to attempt to try to get the live stream from NFHS up. It really just, I think that's what overwhelmed the system here that I have at the rental home here in Spokane, Washington. Like, I think that was just too much. I mean, you can have the live stream going for the ResV stuff, but doing both just too much content, too much data for the line that we're using. So, but yeah, LaSalle Rams D1 champs, good stuff. Really a solid season for them. Only a couple of hiccups along the way. I mean, they lost to Mount St. Charles in 4 in the regular season, I believe. Well, maybe it was 5. And they beat NK. I mean, they lost NK in 3 and 4 or 5 as well. So they had those 2 hiccups. And really, the tons of talent on that team. And what was the concern was that, could they limit their errors and win it? And they did. They were able to limit their errors. They grew as a group. Like I said, Nick Lisi was the glue to that team. Jack Johnson was the hammer, and Ephraim was the monster. And then the other players really played solid roles. Ali came along. I think he made the most growth throughout the year. Ali went from, a player that was struggling to find people, and then all of a sudden just blossomed into a very good setter through his hard work. And then Ty Cotta came on, and Ty was sort of projected to be the libero, and Nathan Simis was the libero to start, and then Nathan had a different role, and Ty took the libero role and grew into it a little bit. And don't forget the move to bring Connor Lewis to the middle. I mean, he was playing right side, and really they wanted a little bit more physical middle. So they brought Connor over there, did a nice job. And then, the player they replaced took his role well and won a state championship because of his unselfishness. So congratulations to him. And then they brought up a right side, and he was solid. So really the team did a nice job, and they were able to figure it out. Charahoe was built around Matt Tiernan, and I thought Matty did a great job taking 1,000 swings. He really did. He took close to 1,000 swings, if not over. And he was the focal point of the whole show, and that's a hard role to live with, especially in volleyball, where, again, in my opinion, the goal is to be a complicated puzzle. It's to be, a puzzle that's hard to figure out. And they basically said, our puzzle's going to be simple. Tiernan's going to get the rock. And are you good enough to stop him? And there weren't many teams that were. I mean, he was able to put up 25-30 against everybody. And then, again, as I said in the previous stream, the team grew around him. Plasky got better. The middles, Plant and Christensen, got better. Knowles improved. Azanaro level was high. They had an issue on their right side as well, and they danced with a couple of different players, but whoever was over there did a decent job. So, I mean, that team grew as well. And, even though they're not, they're not the team that finished on top, they had a great run. Got a great run. Hey, you knocked off the defending champs. Like, that's the story for them, really, is you went into the Forge and you knocked them off. Like, that's huge game for them. So but yeah, June 17th, the ResV All-Star game. We're gonna have a girls match and a boys match. We're gonna have awards for the end of year awards this year. I had this grand vision of doing positional awards, and let's see here. I'm getting positional awards and doing a bunch of different end of year awards. And then I sort of ran out of time. What ended up happening is that some stuff in my personal life took precedence, and I had to deal with it. And then, of course, this trip was coming up as well, and so I actually reverted back to what I did last year, which was have a Player of the Year award, a Defensive Player of the Year award, a Setter Year of the Award, and then a newcomer. Last year we called it Rookie of the Year, but it's hard to find rooks. And so this time it was more like, all right, who's the guy that came in and may have had some varsity minutes last year, but maybe this year played a major role difference and had all that stuff. So we have a Newcomer of the Year award, and then we have the Coach of the Year award. So I sort of went back to that. So those awards will be announced at the ResV All-Star match. But you should have, if you had a chance, you should have been able to see the ResV article that had the ResV All-Star teams, first team, second team, third team, fourth team, and honorable mention. So you have that, and certainly you know who the finalists are for the awards that we have. And again, those will be revealed at the match next Saturday. Looks like Ben Lind is on. Ben, are you there?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me, Rez?
I can, Coach. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing today?
I'm doing okay. It was a late night. We went to a concert here up in Washington. We went to the Gorge, which is the most beautiful concert area I've ever seen in my life. And we had a great
nice.
Yeah, I've never seen anything like it. And of course we're still jet lagged. I mean, we had a terrible day of travel yesterday, and so like we're pretty blurry eyed, and the concert didn't get out until 12:30 in the morning, and then trying to get home was another hour, and so I'm on my fourth cup of coffee to survive here, but really stoked to be here and talk a little bit. And unfortunately, the house that we're staying at, their internet connection isn't very strong. So I've blasted through it a couple of times and it's shut down. I've had to restart. So this is the third attempt to do the live stream. But all of my issues aside, glad to be doing a little bit of live stream. Really stoked to have you on, Ben. And you were the down official for this match. How'd it go?
Went pretty well. I'd say it was a little surprising in how many sets it went, but the result didn't surprise me as much. Unfortunately, I had LaSalle winning that one, but I figured it would go 4 or 5.
Mm.
But only went 3.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, when Coach Ridge had jumped in and he was telling us what was happening in set 2. I mean, one of the things we talked about, and I was really adamant about, is that Chero had to win set 2. You know, if they get set 2, the game changes. Maybe that puts more pressure on LaSalle, makes them a little bit more uncomfortable. Maybe there's more errors that follow with that. But if they lost set 2, which ultimately they did, you know, what was it, 24, 25, 22, 25, 21?
Somewhere around there, yeah. It was real tight.
Yeah. So, you know, once you drop that, like, LaSalle's just got too many hammers. And if they don't feel uncomfortable, I mean, that was sort of their Achilles heel last year. They felt uncomfortable and they pull off the brake, they put on the brakes a little bit, pull off the gas. But, you know, up 2-0, and it sounds like they were playing relatively clean. And it sounded like Ephraim was having a real good match. You know, Big E's the difference there, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, congrats to LaSalle. It was really a nice match for them. You know, shame I didn't get to see it. I'll watch it later on when I have stronger internet powers. But yeah, it's a heck of a match. Anything you saw that was sort of unique, Ben, from your vantage point as the down official?
So honestly, my take was largely just what could Cheraho have done to really try to push for the win here. And I don't think the move was super obvious to those maybe watching, but I think the only option they had would have been to move Matty Tiernan to the right side. That's where the block was weaker. That's where he could have done a little bit more work. I think he would have been more effective there more often. The few times he was on the right, because they were in rotation 1, he scored pretty frequently. But the block of Ali and Ephraim was just too much in a lot of cases for Tiernan. I think if they had made that move in the second or third set, they would have seen more success. But that's just a move that you don't make obviously in the finals. I mean, you've been riding him as your left side all season long. How do you, in the last game when the lights are the brightest, make that move in good faith?
Yeah, I mean, that's a hell of a move to make, Ben. I mean, I don't even know if I'd make that. I mean, I think what I would do. And I mean, one of the things that Ridge noted during the match is that Poplaski was setting the ball pretty tight. And if it's tight to the net, that doesn't give Matty enough room to make decisions and navigate the blocking ability. Because that's the biggest strength for LaSalle. LaSalle's strength is they're big and physical. They block really, really well. And Ephraim's the best blocker in the state by a large margin. So, you know, if the ball's being set tight, from my perspective as a coach, I'd be really working on that aspect. I'd be telling Cody, hey, we need that ball off, 3 feet off even. Give Matty room. You know, let's really work there. But it would take a lot for me to move him to the right side after, because that's a high risk, high reward situation.
Oh, I agree 100%. But the little bit of data that you do have of him swinging on the right against the block of Nick Lisi and Ephraim, or Jack Johnson and Ephraim, had a higher success rate than Ollie and Ephraim.
Sure. So I mean, what I would have done, Ben, maybe is just push him back in the middle and swing offense it. You know what I mean? Like wherever we're going to make him pass in the middle, and then whenever we can, we're just going to run a back set to him. Unless you practice it. I mean, that's the only other thing. And you know my views on that, Ben, which is if we're not practicing it, we're not running it. I mean, we have to have reps of Matt being on the right, because if you take Matt and you move him to the right, it affects everything. You know, everybody else now has to figure out a new role and know where they're supposed to be on the floor, and that could lead to some. That's why I was saying high risk, high reward. Like, absolutely, you might do that. You might get four kills out of them, but then you have like 5 to 10 points that just go sideways because the rest of the crew doesn't know what they're doing, or isn't ready for it, or isn't prepared for it. So,
yeah.
But hey,
And to the point of the ball being a little
interesting.
tight. To the point of the ball being a little tight, about midway through the second set, the setter had made a couple of really spectacular digs, but they were all one-handed, elbow hitting the ground as he's making that dig. So I think he was playing through an injury to some degree for at least half the match, favoring his right arm.
No
so that's
kidding.
probably why his left arm was a little stronger, probably pushing it tighter to the net when it didn't need to be. So
yeah, and that's just something that can't happen, unfortunately. Like, I certainly feel for the young man if he was, hurt himself on a dig or on a play. But when you're playing the top blocking team in the state and you have a guy like Ephraim who blocks like a men's volleyball player in college, like, it can't be tight. Like, you just can't do it. So how do you fix that? Like, do you have a backup setter? Do you have, do you have a way to tell him, hey, even 3 feet off is better than right on the net, because just nowhere to go.
Yeah.
How
absolutely.
did who ends up being the player of the match for you for LaSalle, Ben? Who ends up being the player of the match?
I feel like I probably do have to give it to Ephraim. I mean, he feels like the easy pick, obviously, but his ability to close the block and block when he needed to was just overwhelming for that Cheraho side. Like, I think he had 10 blocks on Tiernan before Tiernan got a kill. I might be exaggerating a bit there, but that's what it felt like.
Holy smokes! If he's got 10 blocks, wow.
It was very masterful at how well he was blocking.
Well, that's the thing, man. Like, I wrote about it a couple of times in a couple different ResV articles where, dude, he changes a game without scoring a point. Like, he doesn't need to get a kill. He doesn't need to get, run a quick in the middle and bounce one. He changes it with his blocking ability. Like, he's just so big and so fast and so physical. Like, oof. At least for all the other players around him. I certainly Ephraim's. I still think Ephraim's potential is sky high. Who knows where he's going to end up playing in college? But he's a college level volleyball player. So, and he's a great dude. I've loved working with him at South County. Like, he's come a long way, and he's going to just keep getting better. So, kudos to him. So, most valuable player in the match, Ephraim Abelim, which is great. And Ephraim, I hope I got your last name correctly. I apologize, buddy, if I butchered. I'm known for butchering. Well, there's Coach Ridge. What's going on, guys?
We were just
greetings from Spokane, Washington.
What happened?
Yeah, I said greetings from Spokane, Washington.
Nice.
So
I was just
my ResV boys.
Boots on the ground talking to Tiernan.
How's he doing? Is he doing okay?
About as good as you could be doing in his situation right now. I think he handled it with grace and everything, so that's good.
Well, he should. I mean, look, he knew. I think everybody knew going in, and he's no dummy, that they were the underdog. They were going to have their work cut out for them, and he's carried them. He's carried the team the entire season. And, and that's not a negative connotation. Like, I don't want the other guys on that Cheraho side to feel that.
I think we might have lost him, Ridge.
Just hang in there.
Yeah.
He'll come back.
He'll come back.
Whose live stream is it? Is it his or
it is? Yeah.
So are we frozen or is he frozen?
That's a good question. I'm not sure.
Well, if we're not frozen.
Yeah, I mean, either way, it's some commentary here.
The Ridge, we're just talking over each other right now.
No, almost certainly, but it might be entertaining.
Oh man, come on, Rez, unfreeze yourself.
Kill my video. Maybe that'll help his internet a little bit. Yeah. Not having to render that either.
I was gonna say it's too bad we didn't. You're the tech guy. I don't even know what we would do. But imagine if we had like a on the move, like streaming. Like how would we do that? What would we need?
Oh, you just left it. I'm gonna get out of that. Oh, maybe I can.
You don't even have the